The round of 16 is locked in. We have some incredible fixtures, we really do. Brazil against Norway, Mexico against England, Spain against Portugal. But it all starts right here today with Canada against Morocco and Paraguay against France. So we're going to do three things in this video. We're going to first look at the round of 16 games and quickly say who's going to go through in every single game and give some initial thoughts and predictions. And then we're going to look at the two knockout games being played today. Speaking of predictions, don't forget to add yours in the comments for your chance to win Odd Alerts Pro. Here is the winner from yesterday's video. Fantastic prediction as always. Now let's make some more on this episode. So the last 16 is set. Let's take a look and make some predictions. Of course, we are going to cover Paraguay against France in this video if you want to check that out a little bit later. France are going to go through. I think it's pretty easy to say that. I know Paraguay did wonderful stuff against Germany, but Germany had 70+% of the ball across the 120 minutes. I think if that's your approach, don't do it against France, because if you give them the ball, they will hurt you. Yes, Musiala, Sane, Havertz, Wirtz, these are good players, but Olise, Dembele, Mbappé, Doué, Cherki, these are better players. So France to go through, and then we go to Canada against Morocco. You'll see in this video I am backing Morocco to get through there. I think this is the end of the road for Canada, who I do feel, and this is no shame, that they are the third best host nation team. I think I like what I see from America at this moment in time, and Mexico, of course, are Mexico, especially when they play in Mexico. Portugal against Spain, I do believe Spain will get through. I just don't know what's up with Portugal. They've got the players, but something is not working. There was so much space through the middle for Croatia, especially in that second half, and Spain have got many players that can drive through the middle of the pitch for them. So I think there's real danger for Portugal if they do not quickly improve. And the thing is with these games now, as I said, the final is just over 2 weeks away. You don't really have the time to make big changes to your structure. So if Portugal continue to give teams massive gaps as they did against Croatia, then I think this is the end of the line for them and Cristiano. And who will they play? Well, I think it will be Spain against... I'm going to go with the United States in this one. I think there's something in the air for them in this competition, and I'm not saying that they can get through against Spain, but against Belgium, if Belgium have an off day, what I said before the Senegal game rings true again. You just don't know what Belgium you're going to get. And even within the game, you see one Belgium for 20 minutes and then they pop up for another 10 minutes and then they just go missing again. Senegal shot themselves in the foot, really, in that game. It should be them facing the United States. And I am going to back, as a slight surprise, the USA to progress. I cannot wait for this game. Brazil against Norway. This is very, very tricky to call. I'm looking forward to Erling Haaland coming up against Gabriel. They always battle it out when it's Man City against Arsenal. I am going to go with Brazil to go through in this one. I think they've got a little bit more experience, especially given that Carlo Ancelotti is the manager, and I stick by what I said in the previous video where we did the full round of 32 games, and that is that I think Brazil will get better as the tournament progresses, and that has been true. The only thing will be that pressure to get Neymar on the pitch when he's really not the answer for them at this moment in time. And then on to Mexico against England. Mexico have not conceded a goal in the competition as of yet. England, well, if we play against Mexico in the same way we did against DR Congo, then we are as good as out. A massive improvement is needed, and let's be honest, this is a much more difficult game in much more difficult conditions. The Mexico fans have been, let's just say, waking up the opposition when they stay in Mexico with fireworks and parties outside the hotel and whatnot. So I expect England to get the same treatment. I am not confident in England's ability to get through in this game. And that's just based on what I've seen. It will take a massive improvement. So I'm going to go with my heart over my head for this one and say that England get through, because on paper they have much better players. But this game especially is not played on paper. It is played at altitude, at a stadium where Mexico have lost just twice in 89 competitive games. So that is what England are facing, but I do think they will get through, sort of. Argentina against Egypt, Messi against Salah. Messi just keeps doing it, doesn't he? What a goal that was to open the scoring against Cape Verde, and that was a fantastic game. It really was. Egypt went to penalties. I can only see one team progressing here, and it is Argentina. I think they will get a kick up the backside in training. But Cape Verde, they knew that was going to be a difficult game. I think Cape Verde surprised them a little bit. They needed that second goal, Argentina, in the second half. They didn't get it. And from then on, it was very, very difficult. They do have the quality, however, to get past Egypt, and I think they will. And Switzerland against Colombia, we did back Colombia to get through, and of course they have. I'm going to back them again. I think they can be a dark horse. I really like what I see when I watch them. They've got a very well-balanced squad. Plenty of players that can get you goals from all over the pitch. Let me know what you agree with and disagree with in the comments for your chance to win Odd Alerts Pro. Now on to today's games. So Canada against Morocco, a tough game for Canada. Is this the end of the road? Remember to get your predictions in the comments. Morocco haven't lost a game after 90 minutes in 33 attempts. We can see the defeat there to Senegal was that contentious AFCON final where they won and lost the game. 33 games. The last defeat was a very long time ago to Kenya, a 1-0 defeat. So they are in fantastic form. They've changed their style a little bit. If you watch them in the Qatar World Cup, they're more of a counter-attacking team. Now they can keep the ball really, really well. They limited the Netherlands to just 2 shots on target in that game, picked their moment well to go up and score the equaliser. In the dying moments, there was a lot of late goals, wasn't there, in the round of 32. And for Canada, if we're looking at their World Cup, I don't think this is harsh to say, but I think they're the 3rd best home nation team. Mexico and the USA have been much better, I believe. They've got more about them. It's going to be a tricky game for Canada because Morocco have got that experience of going deep into competitions as well, with AFCON and the previous World Cup, of course, where they also beat Canada in the previous World Cup. So maybe a little bit of revenge on the cards for Canada in this one. But, you know, they drew with Bosnia. They beat Qatar, who were down to 9 men. They lost to Switzerland. You would expect them to lose that game. And then they needed a very, very late goal against South Africa. And they actually didn't have more possession in that game than South Africa. South Africa didn't do much with the ball, but again, they didn't really dominate the game. So this is going to be another tricky game for them. My initial feeling is that Morocco will progress in this one. And the bookies agree, but they are offering odds of just under evens with 1xBet for Morocco to win after 90 minutes. Could Canada take Morocco to extra time, as they nearly did with South Africa? One huge plus for Canada is that Alphonso Davies is expected to start. He's played just 15 minutes in the competition so far. He was managing an injury coming into the competition. He is by far their best player. And for Morocco, and this is where I sort of think that Morocco do have enough to get through when I look at the key men, the danger men, and weigh them up. Saibari just signed for Bayern Munich. He's got 3 goals already. Bayern Munich have snapped him up. He's been looking really, really good for Morocco. Hakimi's looking good. He didn't play much football towards the back end of last season. Came back for the Champions League final, as you do, and won it. That was his first game in quite a while. And this little player, Bouaddi, what a gem he is. 18 years old, in the middle. He is nicknamed the brain of the team. He is going to get a big move. He's at Lille at the moment, but look, Arsenal are looking at him. Chelsea are looking at him. Real Madrid are looking at him. He is going to be some player. And also a word on Mazraoui. I can't believe what I'm seeing as a Premier League viewer watching him. He's playing like prime Cafu in some of these games. How does he do it? Man United fans must be furious. So it's a big day for Jesse Marsch and Canada. He said this in anticipation of the game. He said, "Preparing for Morocco is like a gory, horrible nightmare. We know everybody's going to write us off, and in that is an opportunity." Now to take a look at the rankings table, because I think this indicates where the issue may be for Canada. They are joint second with Germany for shots on target in the competition. They've had 28. Only France have had more. They've scored just 2 goals though in the last couple of games, so finishing is a bit of an issue. And yes, as we check out the results tab, 10 of those did come against 9-man Qatar, but 7 against Switzerland and 7 against South Africa. These are shots on target, by the way. And I mentioned that stat because I think Canada will need to take their chances when they come along, no doubt about that. We can see here that Morocco have conceded just 4 shots on target in the last 3 World Cup games. None against Scotland, 2 against Haiti and 2 against the Netherlands. Brazil had 5 shots on target against them, but of course only scored once. They've got a very good goalkeeper as well, Morocco. And it's safe to say Canada are not Brazil, so how many shots on target will Canada have in this one? If you're looking for any player props, Jonathan David, of course, 1.75 shots on target per game. Larin as well, 1.33. Saibari, again, is an interesting one. We're looking at fouls per game here, and he has committed 2 fouls per game. So my prediction for this one, I do think Morocco have more than enough to get through in this game. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to back them to do it over 90 minutes. Under 4 goals in the game as well, and both teams to receive a card. I can see this being a tight, narrow victory for Morocco, and if that is the case, the last 20 minutes, I can see them picking up a card, be that for time wasting or for a tactical foul, as Canada need to push on for this game. And my score prediction for this one is 2-0 to Morocco. Sorry, Canadians, but I think this is the end of your journey. Next up, it's Paraguay against France. So Paraguay against France, the German Slayers. For knocking out Germany, the reward is that you get to play France. Pretty tough stuff. The odds for them to do it again, that is get a draw, is just under 8 with 1xBet. For them to win the game, 21 on Betfair at the time of recording. Now, you don't need me to tell you France have looked pretty good. They've scored 3 goals or more in every single game that they've played. And looking at the players tab, we can see Kylian Mbappé has 6 goals in the World Cup. He is on fire, so is Dembele. They're combining for many World Cup goals. Olise is also on 5 assists, which is bonkers. What a player he is. Pelé, incidentally, is the all-time leader in terms of assists with 6, so Olise almost there. And Didier Deschamps holds the record for most World Cup wins as a manager, 18 wins. He is back after the passing of his mother. Big sympathies for him. He actually captained France in the 1998 round of 16 game against Paraguay. And on that day, they needed a golden goal to get through. Now, taking a look at that Germany game for Paraguay, because the possession, 76% across 120 minutes, we can see after 75 minutes, Germany really did start to get shots in on goal, 2.76 XG. The keeper, Orlando Gill, I believe he ranks first for the number of saves made by a keeper at the competition, and this game is a big reason why. 21 shots, but only 6 on target for Germany. This is the blueprint, but is it sustainable? Can they realistically do this again against France, who have been, I think, the best team at the competition? So we're going to take a quick look at the football form guide, link in the description. Before we put together our predictions for this one, we can see France have scored 2 or more in each of their last 6 games. There's been 3 or more goals in each of those games as well. They've actually scored 3 or more in every single one of those games. They've conceded first in none of those games. They rank first for shots on target, 48 in the last 6 games. That is an average of 8 per game. They've had more corners than their opponents, more shots on target. So my selection for the France game is as followed, and really I think the odds are so low, even given how Paraguay have been playing. France to score more than once, for example, the odds are really low, not worth it in my opinion, so I'm going to go with a player selection in this one. France to have over 3 corners in the second half, and I guess this is because I see it being a tight game up until maybe a certain point, and then France will get the goals that they always do. Famous last words, of course, because we said similar things about Germany, that they would, get a couple of goals in the second half after eventually breaking Paraguay down. But when you look at the way France are playing, consistently scoring goals, the players that they've got, the players that they can bring on as well, it's just pretty scary stuff. So over 3 corners in the second half for France. Olise to score or assist, I think he is one of the best players in the world at this moment in time. And in that France team, a lot of the spotlight will be on Mbappé and then Dembele, but he is, I think, right up there with anybody in world football for what he can do, what he can bring in a moment. And he can win you a game out of nothing, really, and create a goal out of nothing, as he's done all season for Bayern Munich. And I do think France at 90 minutes. My score prediction for this one, it's 3-0 to France. So that has been Saturday's games. I will see you here tomorrow for these: Brazil against Norway and Mexico against England.